Thank you for tuning in and welcome back, team. In today's episode of Real Estate Advice, you'll learn about buying a home and why it's smart to start saving now. My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. I'm always here to help. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact information is below. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. So let's go ahead and talk about buying a home and why it's smart to start saving now. You might be the first time home buyer out there, or maybe you haven't bought a home for a while, or possibly you're actually renting a property now. And with the American Dream, many people say that part of the American Dream is actually home ownership. So if you're renting your home right now, if you're renting your castle, so to speak, then you're going to be wanting to look to make that transition into home ownership so you can put equity back into yourself over time. So there's a lot of different things that we should be considering whenever buying a home. If you start saving now, some people need 6 months or longer to save. Some people need up to 5 years to save the money for their down payment for the buyer closing costs. So let's take a look at each of those and some different tips that we can use to help you today to begin saving money, and some considerations that you're going to really enjoy moving forward. So whenever you're looking at a down payment, you always hear people talk about a 20% down payment. While a 20% down payment is ideal because you won't carry any private mortgage insurance, also known as PMI, it's going to be unrealistic for a lot of people out there to save 20% over the same time that the homes are going to appreciate, rates are going to go up. Sometimes it's offsetting each other, and sometimes it's better to start looking at lower down payment options or no down payment options. So with lower down payment options, we are looking at an FHA loan. An FHA loan is a federally insured loan, and they have programs down to 3.5% down, as 3.5% down payment for a home. So if we want to look at the math, let's say that you're looking at a $200,000 house. So the down payment, right, we would take the $200,000 and multiply it by 3.5%, which is $7,000, right? So you're like, okay, I got that. I can come up with that for my down payment, Andrew, but what's this other stuff you're talking about with buyer closing cost? That's a great question. So typically buyer closing costs range between 2% and 4% of the sales price of a home. So let's take our example back to a $200,000 home. If we're factoring buyer closing cost at 2%, that means that you need to be prepared for $4,000. If we factored it at 4%, that means you need to be prepared to pay $8,000 towards your buyer closing cost. Normally in practice, what I see often is about 3% on average for your buyer closing costs. So if you at least have 3% for your buyer closing costs, then you're going to be well prepared. Now, I know this is a lot of numbers very early on the video, so let's go ahead and rehash what we just talked about. If you have a 3.5% down loan on a $200,000 home, that's $7,000. If we're planning for 3% and buyer closing cost off of a $200,000 home, that's $6,000. So $7,000 plus $6,000 means that you should have $13,000 available all in to be able to purchase your new home. Now, buyer closing costs can be negotiated with the seller, except it's very important for you to understand what kind of market condition you're in. If you're in a seller's market, a buyer's market, or a balanced market. If you're in a seller's market, it's going to be highly unlikely that you're going to get your buyer closing costs paid for. It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely because there's so much competition for a home. So having your money ready to go will enable you to be in a really good position to make a strong offer and get your offer accepted. Keep in mind that sellers do have their own closing costs. I've made several other videos about this topic. I'll go ahead and pop up a link for the buyer closing cost section so to better explain what that is for you now, okay? So the other thing that we want to start talking about is down payment assistance programs. So when you hear about zero down loans, that's normally what people are referring to, or something about a down payment assistance program. Now, there are some important things to note about a down payment assistance program. There's going to be a trade-off. The way that this program pays for itself is it's actually normally a little bit higher of an interest rate than the prevailing rate at the time. So let's say that the interest rates right now were 5%, and this is only an example, but let's say that they were 5% right now. So if you were using a down payment assistance program, your interest rate might be like 5.3 or 5.5 going forward. Now, what that's going to do for you is enable you to keep that money in your pocket that you would have otherwise needed for your down payment up front. You'll still have buyer closing costs to plan for. So going back to our $200,000 example, let's say that you have $7,000 saved up right now. You needed to plan for 3% of buyer closing costs because you're using a down payment assistance program. You don't have to worry about the down payment. If you have the $7,000, game on, because that means now that you have your down payment covered through the down payment assistance program, and you have your money ready to go for your buyer closing costs. So there's two sides to real estate that you need to be factoring for when buying a home. That's why learning to save your money now is really going to go a long ways. It's very, very important to understand that. Now, you also have zero down options with a USDA loan, which is another federally insured loan from the Department of Agriculture. So those loans are normally only available, in fact, they are only available in the rural areas of the country. So if you look out and you don't see a whole lot of homes that's like sparsely populated, then you might be in an area that could qualify for that. You'll want to talk to your trusted real estate advisor and ask for a great recommendation to a local loan officer that can better assist you with your home loan options. The other zero down program out there is a VA loan. The trick to the VA loan is that you must have served in the U.S. military and received an honorable discharge and have your benefits intact. You can use it while on active duty, and you can use it as a veteran. You can use it as many times as you like, so long as the previous loan was paid off prior to using it again. So it's very important to understand those different alternatives that you have. And then actually nowadays there's very low down payment conventional loans, anywhere from 1% to 3% down. So there's a lot of options available to you. The most important thing that you need to do is go ahead and begin saving. So how do you do that? Let's say that you consider some alternative down payment sources other than the down payment assistance program. What could you do? You could actually go to sites like crowdfunding sites and ask for a down payment. Just put it out there. Who knows? Maybe other people out there say, hey, I'd like to pay this forward with some good karma, and I'm going to go ahead and contribute X number of dollars towards your dream of home ownership. Let's say that you do that for a year and people donate money. That would be lovely, right? And it would help you. You could actually crowdfund that. Might make it a little bit of a nightmare for the loan officer that have to source all that money, but they would figure out how to do that and make it work for you. And if you're using a site, one of the crowdfunding sites, that would certainly be a little bit easier for them to see where that came from and work through it that way. Now, the next option that's far more popular that people do in conjunction with the down payment assistance program or without it is actually asking for their family or their friends, their relatives, for some money to help them with their down payment. It's called gifted funds. Now, I made a video about gifted funds the other day, so I'll go ahead and put that link up for you now so you can go ahead and understand that and share it with your family if that's something that you would like to ask them to assist you with. Share the video with them and see what they say. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but at the same time, we don't know unless you ask the question, right? So the other thing that you need to start planning for is, and this is really going to pertain to you if you're like a renter, right? And you want to start planning for how much home you can afford. There's a couple of different things that you can do. Number one, take a look at the amount of money that you're spending on your rent every month right now, okay? And then figure out what the payment's going to be. You can use mortgage calculators to come up with an idea. Let's say you want a $250,000 house, right? Or let's just roll with the $250,000 house. You want the $250,000 house, and let's say that mortgage payment's going to be like $1,400 a month. In that mortgage payment, you're going to have your principal, your interest, your property taxes, and your homeowner's insurance. If you have an HOA, it won't be part of your mortgage payment, but it will be a monthly expense that you need to plan for your monthly budgeting purposes. So let's say the difference between the two. Let's say that you're spending $1,000 a month in rent right now. And going back to the other example, let's say that the monthly mortgage is $1,400. So what could you do as a renter right now that would be very good for your savings account and also help you see how viable that monthly mortgage payment is going to be? What you could do is simply set up another savings account, pay your $1,000 a month to your landlord, right? And take that other $400 out of your paycheck and put it into a savings account so you get used to and accustomed to paying $1,400 a month for your living expenses in the form of what you have right now, rent. But later on, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have that $1,400 down pat. You're going to be used to it for your monthly mortgage payment when you buy a house. This is the beauty of this approach, is as you're putting that $400 into your savings account over 12 months, that's $4,800. So at that rate, in addition to maybe you save another $220 a month, right? So you would have a total savings every single month of like $620. Multiply that over 12 months, and you're going to have over $8,000 already ready to go in 1 year by just using that tactic to assist you with your down payment and or buyer closing costs. So there's a lot of different things that can really assist you whenever you start planning to save money. If you do it right off the top when you get paid, it's going to be very beneficial to you to get used to that monthly mortgage payment, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to look like, and you can better plan your true cost of home ownership. Whenever you're considering your true cost of home ownership, please do consider your utility bills. So take take a look at your current utility bills and take a look at the size of the home that you wish to have that's in your comfort level for your monthly mortgage. Now, what I found and what a lot of our community members have shared with us on a video I made about factoring true cost of home ownership and how much home can someone afford, it's a really interesting and very simple equation. So if you take the square foot of a property, let's say 2,000 square feet, right? And you multiply that amount of square feet by a factor of 0.8, right? So like 8, right? 0.8. And you multiply that out, anywhere between 0.8 and a whole number of 1 is going to actually probably be closer to the actual monthly amount between your principal, your interest, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your HOA if you have one, plus all of your utilities, right? Not food and stuff like that, not gas, but utilities that that you're going to need for your home. And when I say gas, I'm talking about gas you put in your car, not gas like for your appliances and your furnace and your range top and everything, right? So let's go back to that 2,000 square foot home. Multiply it out by 0.8. It means that you need to be prepared for $1,600 a month in the cost of home ownership. If you multiplied it out by 1, that means you need to be prepared for $2,000 a month for your housing expenses and utilities. I hope this has been really beneficial in helping you to better understand not only some of the down payment programs or low down payment options that you have available to you, but also to help you save some money and some realistic ways you can start right now and how best to plan this so that anywhere between 6 years and 5 years from now, you will be ready to purchase a home in as little as 6 months ideally, or maybe up to 5 years. It's up to you and your commitment to yourself most especially, and your discipline and your savings now. The sooner you can get into home ownership, the better it's going to be for you in the long run. It's going to boost your credit score. It's going to give you more pride. It's going to give you more confidence, and your confidence level is for you. There's so many intangibles that come with accomplishing the American dream, and I know you can do this. So tell me what you're thinking about this video in the comment section below. What was the most impactful thing to you in this video? Was it learning about some of the down payment options and the low down payment options that you have available to you? Was it the fact that you can use gift funds for your down payment? Or was it the way that you can save money by simply go ahead and putting extra money into a savings account that would be equivalent to your monthly mortgage going forward? Tell us what you're thinking in the comment section below. Now, I'm going to put my contact information up. If you have any questions about this video, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hi, I'm always here to help, and I absolutely enjoy hearing from you. Now, likewise, if you need help finding a top agent where you live, I'm happy to help you out. Just shoot me over an email with your situation, your time frame, what you're looking for, price range, and what will happen is I'll shoot you back a message looking for a few more details so that we can have it all ready to go when we find your trusted real estate advisor to recommend to you. So if you have any questions, let me know. At the end of the day, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it very beneficial. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Enjoy a wonderful day.